Okay, so this is the first and possibly the last of a set of videos I've been thinking about doing. And the purpose of these videos is these are real mapping situations that I face, and in the future maybe I will ask other people to contribute if they want to, other mappers. Situations that I face while mapping that require some kind of problem solving, decision making skills that are very hard to explain in the abstract. So by creating videos of the examples and how we go about them, we hope that might help newer mappers or even other experienced mappers, help learn from each other. So in this situation, I have the song has a very long build-up, like a really, really long build-up. Like the build-up, the intro is like 1.5 minutes, and then the build-up starts here and lasts like a whole other minute, and then there's a huge drop. So I'm just letting you listen to it so you see it, and then here begins the intense build-up part, but this lasts 4 other sections. This is the first one, then the second one, which is similar to the first one, but it changes the chord on the second half. Now it changes the chord. Now there's another instrument that's come in, if you hear that, accentuating some of the sounds, and we'll get back to that because that's part of the issue that I'm having. Then here it's just kind of opening up, kind of, going extreme, and then this part is this transition. I haven't thought how I'm gonna do it yet, but it's very difficult because it kind of fades out while the vocals fade in. Very difficult, and then the drop. Just left a little bit for your own satisfaction. So I find this really difficult to map for various reasons. But the one I want to focus now is in this part here. As you can see, I have these sounds. I can activate hit sounds maybe. The little pulses of the kick, right? I think it's the percussion. But here it kind of grows, and you can see I have more sounds. So those sounds that enter here, they're definitely there, and if you listen to it slowed down, it's very obvious. Dun 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 dun. So they're there. This is not overmapped, but it can definitely feel overmapped, right? Like when you look at it, it kind of doesn't feel overmapped, right? Now, why did I decide to map them so far? But I'm about to change this, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I've tried several things for this section already. I've tried having these as inline flicks. I've tried having them as different hands. The reason I decided to map them to begin with is because I want to have an increase in intensity at this point. So I don't want this transition here from this first part of the build-up to this second part to feel irrelevant, because I feel like in the music it's very relevant at this point. So I thought by mapping those extra sounds that actually do start here, that would be a good way to accentuate it. And I've tried this mapping. It's quite playable. It's quite fun. I mean, it's fast, but it's fun. But several people that I've shared this on videos with several people, and several people have said, I'm not sure if that's overmapped. Like they can feel the sounds, but they don't really hear them. So it looks a little bit overmapped. And it also, another thing with this is this kind of these are pretty fast flicks, 244 BPM flicks. You are quite limited in the angles and the positions, and vision is an absolute nightmare. Because it's quite dense as well. So it just makes the section very hard to map and quite restricted. So after thinking about it a while, I think what I'm gonna try now, and maybe I'll change my mind back again and go back to this, or go back to something else, go back to the inline flicks, or who knows. Like this is the kind of section that requires a lot of iteration, in my opinion. But what I'm gonna try to do now is keep it with a similar rhythm choice to this one, where we have 3 sounds of each hand. I'm just gonna make the angles and the positions more intense. So starting here, when it opens up, for example, I can actually get started right now. I haven't thought about all the patterns, but I can start right now. Oh, I selected it wrong. Sorry. So I can delete all this, and I can go like, so it's a forehand. So I can go for something like this, right? Sorry, that's mistimed. You know, like more intense movements, the same rhythm choice, but more intense movements. I don't know if this is what I'll stick with, but something like that. That, you know, more crossovers, and then we can start having palm ups. Of course, we can have stuff like this forehand, or this forehand, or this backhand, you know, sort of stuff. We can start having that. So same rhythm, but more intense movements to communicate the intensity in a lighter way than the change in rhythm choice would be. And I am under mapping because those sounds are there. Like, they're very obviously there. But they don't feel that present here. And one of the reasons for this is I realized, I mean, I knew for a while, but I realized more directly that there's another instrument that comes in around here that actually signals those sounds better. You can hear it now coming in, like another drum. So what I'm gonna do, now they're a lot more obvious, right? And you can actually hear when you slow it down, it's very obvious. It's a lot more emphasized. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reintroduce those timings at this point, which is halfway through the intense part of the build-up. Now I haven't thought yet about how to do this transition. Well, I have thought about it, but I don't have a conclusion. I know it's gonna be very difficult to do that transition, but yeah. So yeah, I want to explain the decision-making process, and hopefully you understand as well, like how when we do this, we normally think a lot about the structure of the song. I'm going backwards and forwards in the drop. I'm thinking about the relative intensity of the different parts, the rhythms and how they change and so on. So I'm not just going, oh, there's a sound, I'll put a note to it. There's a lot of thinking back and forth in that way. That's one of the takeaways I wanted to get from this little comment.